How's it going?
Good.
I will probably be pulled away as soon as my VP and executive director contact me, which is what I tried to let you know in however we send stuff to you, Julie. I'm sorry. But I'll be here as long as I can. I'll just say that.
Okay. No, that's no worries, Wendy. Then why don't we move you up? We'll have you go earlier. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, Megan. Hi, Shanna. Who have I said? Christina. Shariah, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. It's so nice. I love this part, putting, faces to words all week, right?
Right. It's nice to meet everyone. Hi.
So we've got, I'm expecting 12 folks in your class, and we are literally coast to coast, which is super cool. Except if you're in Arizona, and then it's not cool.
Thanks, Julie.
I know.
I keep checking. Maybe it feels cooler. No, it feels hotter. It feels hotter.
Oh God. when my pool is a bathtub and you don't even go in anymore, you know that it's like, all right.
My air conditioner, my son and I named him Kenny the conditioner, and he's an original. He's an original. So I keep listening for not that I could tell. I'm not like a heating and cooling technician. I couldn't tell what's going on, but I just listen. How are you feeling? Please don't go out. I don't want to go to a hotel tonight.
It's horror. I mean, yeah. How old is Kenny?
He is over 20 years old. It's a train, everyone. It's a train. Okay. My dad just cleaned him out. He just needs Freon, apparently. My dad said, don't let anyone sell you anything. This thing works. It just needs some love. I'm like, okay. He's like, it's not efficient, but it works. I said, thanks, Dad.
Yeah. I know I've seen an increase in air conditioning repair trucks in my neighborhood. And I'm just like, oh my God, poor things. I mean, it's just, it's a tough go. It's a tough go right now. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. And if we have some late joiners, that is totally cool. So I am Julie. I have been corresponding with you all this week and hope that you have enjoyed the course and learned a ton. I will say they call it boot camp, in my opinion, for a reason. I don't know if you caught that Wendy, it's like, what the heck? So it's a lot. It is a lot, but we move fast paced, and hopefully you realize too, hey, Joel, that it builds, like every exercise connected, and it kind of builds to this moment in time, which I just get goosebumps because I love this. I teach other courses, but this is, I have to say, this is my favorite. Because it's a little different. It's not really a discussion, it's you presenting, but then we will discuss. I will say, I know some of you are on the East Coast, so thank you for sticking with us. I know it's a Friday, so you might be dragging a little bit. I will do my best to keep the tempo up. But what I am going to ask is, we are going to applaud every single person at the conclusion of the presentation of their log line. How you do that, if you want to unmute, please do. I've got some moves I'll incorporate myself, trying to be unique for each of you. But do show your gratitude. This is a wonderful opportunity where you have purely objective, unbiased feedback at your fingertips. And there's no wrong way to do this. So if you're nervous, please don't be. You'll kind of see the groove. What we're going to do is I'm going to call on you in reverse alphabetical order, with the exception of Wendy, because she may have to excuse herself due to another commitment. So we're going to let her go first. But then if you would say your name, your organization, and the audience, so your character, who this is targeted to, if you would verbally say your log line twice and then paste it in the chat. Some people are audible learners, other people are visual. So that's That's how it's going to roll. But let's start with the infamous icebreaker, shall we? So if you saw my message, some of you may not have. You're gonna have to think quicker on your feet as a result of that. But in the chat box, here we go. What animal best describes you on a good day and why? I love seeing these answers. So if you'll post in the chat, on a good day, what animal best describes you and why? Oh, bottlenose dolphin, nice. Dogs, of course. Sea lion. Shariah, that's the first time I've ever seen a sea lion. Excellent. Peacock, totally Wendy. That's the first time I've seen peacock too. I love this. Dog, yeah, dogs are always. Oh, marmot. You guys are very original, I have to say. Owl, Yep. The woot woot. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Okay, my friends. So without further ado, we're going to open up the floor to the peacock, also known as Wendy. So Wendy, again, if you can say who you are, if you can say your organization, your audience, read your log line, and then paste it in the chat. And the floor is yours.
I am Wendy Anderson Burton, and I am out here in San Francisco. Sorry, it's cool, guys, with you folk out in Arizona. I am the internal communications manager for the San Francisco Marin Food Bank. And what else am I supposed to do? My audience is student volunteers. And my log line says, let me get it up here. Get your community service commitment done by signing up to spend a little time at a food bank pop-up pantry today, and families in need can eat tonight. We make it easy, just a few clicks and you're all set with the day, date, and time to help us stop hunger for one more day. And what else was I supposed to do?
Can you say it one more time? And then after that, if you would kindly paste it in the chat.
Sure. Get your community service commitment done by signing up to spend a little time at a food bank pop-up pantry today, and families in need can eat tonight. We made it easy. Just a few clicks and you're all set with the day, date, and time and date to help us stop hunger for one more day.
All right, thank you. And if you could paste that, I would appreciate it.
Okay, got it. It's nice being the first one guinea pig.
You mean peacock,
Peacock.
not a guinea pig.
The peacock. I wrote this at about 1:30 in the morning, so forgive me. I don't think I had a chance to run it through Grammarly.
All right, folks. So it is pasted, and I'm going to open it up to you. What do you like? Let's start with that. What appealed to you about the log line? You don't have to raise your hand, just go for it.
Okay, I love the fact that you mentioned if you do something today, then you can feed people tonight, and making it a very direct correlation between them doing something and the service getting done, or someone being able to eat at night. That very direct correlation was really nice to hear.
I really also appreciated the last part of it where it says like help us stop hunger for one more day, because I think maybe people are like, well, what's one day going to do in the greater scheme of things, and that might actually prevent people from feeling like they could make a difference. But it's like, yeah, like if it's one more day, yeah, okay, it's one more day. So kudos on that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that you can kind of inversely see the problem, and that like if you're concerned that it's going to take you a while to sign up, or you don't know the process, you've kind of alleviated fears before it even started. It's a quick process to sign up and they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, I like that it's just, you explain that it just takes a couple seconds, just click a few buttons and then, or click on a few things, and then you're signed up to do something that's gonna make a big difference for families.
I'm an emotional reader, so like I like if I read something that doesn't elicit any like emotion for me, I'm like I don't
It's me
look
too.
at it. So for
It's
me,
me
it's
too.
like the stopping hunger, like your strong points for this, like the stopping hunger and families in need to eat tonight. Like that was the part that really like pulled me in. So I feel like if you had that, that's the best.
I'm gonna echo, oh, go ahead, Jacqueline, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like the really just clear, concise call to action right at the beginning. Get your community service done, sign up. You know, you're not reading through the lines. It's just, this is what we want you to do. So I like that.
Thank you. I'm gonna echo Wendy, what others have said, because I agree. I love the fact to me, any objection that someone may potentially have, your character may have, you've just addressed it straight up. So I like that. I like, to me, the problem, you know, there's those 3 problem categories that you've read about and we've done some work on. You're definitely addressing that. I think it's good. I think it's good. And then the impact, I also felt that it was like, boom, boom, this, you do this, this is the impact that your gift of time will have.
Thank you.
Wendy, I'm just going to direct you. Evelyn put she can't speak right now, but she did put some feedback in the chat for you, just to take a gander at that. All right, let's open it up. How could she strengthen it? How could Wendy strengthen this, if at all? What thoughts do you have on that?
Maybe like
Okay.
a few less words. I feel like sometimes you use words that don't have a meaning, but we just put them in there. Like in organizational writing, where like you're just like, how can you say this in the most concise amount of words? Because you lost me a little bit on the second sentence. I was like, hey,
Got it.
because I think of like a movie and how it's like, you know, like you want to say it quickly. So maybe just take out a couple of words.
I feel like you have 2 kind of really punchy parts of your sentences. The families in need can eat tonight and help us stop hunger for one more day. I wonder if there's a way to combine those.
Mm,
It's
Thanks, Megan.
all good. All good. Thank you.
Can I say one more positive that I noticed about it? Sorry.
Heck yeah, of course
Okay,
you
I'm a
can.
little delayed on this one, but if I'm understanding, the prime audience here is young people who are sort of like prescribed to do community service. And I'm sorry if you can hear the bopping around right now. One of our kittens is going to town with the cable plugging my computer. So I like that it appeals to that, but the language and action also is like really reflective of the audience. Like they are used to this very simple, like scripted, templated, like click, I want this to be super easy. And it recognizes them by using the actions that, and acknowledges their mandate to do the service.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Last call for any feedback, positive or ways to strengthen for Wendy.
I think my question, but it's more for myself. Does the audience have to be in the log line? You know how like you said that it was for students like young, or does that have to be in there? Like who it's targeted to, or no? That's more for me. Because this could be for anybody, right? Like get your community service done. It could be like for a person that's coming out of like a program or.
Oh, I see.
I know she said it was for the students, but that's not in here. Does it have to be in here?
Good use.
No.
No. Are you saying, does it explicitly have to say, like, use the word students in this? No.
Okay.
No. I just want the reason I have you all understand, because you can't give feedback if you don't know who this is intended for. So that's why I have each of you explain up front. You do raise a really good point though, Athena. There is versatility with this. So while this is targeted at potential student volunteers, there could be parts of it or most of it that could apply to other audiences as well. But remember that the more narrow, the better. Try not to speak to everyone. But no, you don't have to explicitly say in the log line. There's so few, there's so little space that no. I don't know if you found that tough or not to be concise, but no, you don't, they just need to feel it. You want to draw them in with the emotion, the connectivity. That's the seeing themselves, if you will, that you read about in the log line. But no, the words don't have to reflect such. All right, anything else? All right, so feel free to unmute because we're going to raise the roof for Wendy.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent job.
Thank you.
Way to go. Way to go. Thank you for being the first. And please do stick around as long as you're able. I'd love to have you.
Okay.
All right. So now we will go in the regular reverse alpha order by last name. Christina.
Hi, I'm never first. So if you
I know,
go
that's why I
alphabetical
do that.
order.
I know I had students in another class. They're like, we never, and I'm like, you know what? Let's shake it up a little bit. So, all right. So
Great. Well, thank you. Yeah. So I'm Christina Woolley. I am the head of partnerships and communications at Crystal House Indianapolis, which is a network of tuition-free public charter schools. This has been, I don't know, I'm hoping my log line does connect everything because we actually serve kids from kindergarten to 12th grade, but then we also have high schools for adults 18 and older. So you could literally be any age from 5 on and attend our schools, but the recruitment looks different for kids versus adults a lot. So I was trying to figure out how to incorporate all of it. And so I think I did. So I work mostly with like our recruitment team. So that was sort of my audience that I'm looking at, are families, adults either looking for themselves or their kids for school.
Okay.
So mine is, we're a network of charter schools where students of all ages, 5 to 75, are supported in reaching the goals on their path to success through graduation and beyond. Whether they're going to college, an apprenticeship, military, or a career, our graduates have the preparation, resources, and readiness to realize their dreams.
Okay. Can you say it one more time, please?
Yes. Yeah. We're a network of charter schools where students of all ages, 5 to 75, are supported in reaching the goals on their path to success through graduation and beyond. Whether they're going to college, an apprenticeship, military, or a career, our graduates have the preparation, resources, and readiness to realize their dreams.
Thank you. And if you could kindly paste it, and then we can take a gander.
Okay. It felt very long, but I was having a hard time.
Why are you fast forwarding on the critical feedback already? You've jumped a step, my friend.
Sorry. But yeah.
Okay, there it is. All right, so take a look at that. And I'll open the floor. What do you like? What are the strengths of this log line?
Definitely the age, making sure that all of these people know that you could be as young as 5, as old as 75, and it's still a program that would work for you and for you to be a part of it. So yes, making sure that you put the age in it is one of those like, oh, I can do that too. It helps.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. The age, but then also the college, apprenticeship, military, career, graduate. You kind of hit every single aspect of adult life almost in there. So
okay.
I totally agree with what Joel said. I love that you kind of painted a picture of success looking different for every graduate. There's no one route to success after going through the school. So I really like that.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's hard because our kindergarten through 12th grade kids, they're all on a college prep track, but our adult students, some of them do go to college, but some of them want to do something else, like they're already in a career and just kind of furthering that. So I definitely wanted to make it look
So Christina,
accessible to everybody. So
may I ask an additional question? Where
Yeah.
does I think you referred to them as your recruitment team, the individuals who are recruiting potential students to come. So in what forums or venues do they do that?
Oh, anywhere that will have.
How do they do that?
I mean, it can be anywhere from a preschool to a food pantry to just a community event to door-to-door canvas. I mean, it's literally everywhere.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything
I like
else
the
that
picture. Oh, sorry. I like
Yeah.
the picture you paint. You talk about the ages, like everyone said, and like realize their dreams and how those are different. Like you tie in how everyone's dream is different. Like that was a big, strong thing for me that I connected to emotionally, of course.
And I really like that you highlighted readiness as well, in addition to just the resources and such a key part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's transition. Feedback that could strengthen, that you would offer Christina to strengthen it.
I think that the first part of it with reaching the goals on the path to success, graduation, and beyond, so a lot of like larger concepts in one sentence, and kind of made it feel like a very long process when we all know it is a long process, and that maybe like simplifying that a little bit would be more appealing to like, okay, it's not so much to get to where I want to go.
Got you. Yep.
Thank you, Shannon.
I also think it made me think about schools. The word students is kind of implied. So like just putting like I work at charter schools, ages 5 to 75, like supported, like, because obviously you're a student that's as a teacher, that's just what I think as a former teacher. I mean, think of things that are kind of more implied that you can take out just for the words. Because I know you said that you thought it was a little bit long yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks, Athena. So I'll toggle back to the reason I asked the question. It did have a purpose. So I was curious about when the team is recruiting. I'm wondering if you can tailor this just a little bit, which would then make it more succinct. So if you know in advance, which I would always advise, as much information as you can know about your character / audience, the better you're going to be, because it's going to be more streamlined and more targeted. So if you are speaking to someone who is 75 versus someone who is in their 20s, some of these, like the military apprenticeship, maybe you could streamline it just a little bit and not list absolutely everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The other thing, and this is just a minor recommendation, Christina. So you see in your second sentence, I'm pointing with, you can see what I'm pointing at, where it says whether. It starts with whether they're going to college, whether you're going to college. So I'm talking to you. So it's not like we're in a room and we're talking about other folks. So little changes like that. Again, I'm wanting to draw you in. I'm wanting to connect to you. I'm wanting to make you feel like I'm talking just to you right now. So those are just some thoughts on maybe how you could strengthen it just a bit.
Got you. Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
And then Christina, I just want to point out, Wendy posted a comment in the chat too, if you haven't had an opportunity to read it. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Other thoughts?
That's like we have a whole other program that follows students for 5 years after they graduate, but I literally couldn't put everything in here. So that's why I put in the to try to.
Don't, because that's the thing. You are not, this is hopefully one of many multiple conversations you're going to have. Use the phrase, you just want to wet their whistle. You want to, pique their interest. And it's like, oh, wait, there's more. So that's the, don't fight that urge, because it's like, and also we're so passionate about the organizations that we talk about, that we work for, right? And so it's like, oh, I've got, there's just so much I want to tell you. And it's like, no, you've got to just siphon it down, filter it down. And again, this may be the first time you're speaking to them. So this counts, this moment counts. But if it works out well, again, this is just the beginning of the journey together. So any other thoughts? All right. So now it's time to congratulate Christina. Woo! Excellent.
Thank you.
Awesome job. Awesome
Thank
job.
you.
Okay. Joel, you are up.
I had a feeling. That's what I should use my other last name. Okay. All right. I'll start here, and then I will. So say it twice and then paste it, right?
If you would, please. Yeah. Say who you are, your org, and your audience. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Joel.
Well,
it's all good. It's spelled the same way. So I work with the Children's Developmental Center, and we work with kids from the time they're born up until they're about 3 years old with their developmental needs. And I was going back and forth with my audience in having my audience be the parents or the families or donors. So I switched it to just donors to try to, we want more money. We're nonprofit. So I tried to switch it to make it strictly for the donors.
Okay.
And then I will read this twice and then I'll paste it in there.
Thank you.
Okay. So, and take it easy on me, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. So, yes. All right.
There's nothing but love.
Nothing but love here. That's what we're here for. All right. So children born with special needs deserve the best life imaginable. Join us now in making a difference by donating and helping us to improve the lives of our developmentally disabled community. Let's collectively continue to prepare infants and toddlers with special needs for life. So I will say it again.
Thank you.
So children born with special needs deserve the best life imaginable. Join us now in making a difference by donating and helping us to improve the lives of our developmentally disabled community. Let's collectively continue to prepare infants and toddlers with special needs for life. And boom.
Obviously,
right.
the first sentence is super strong because yes, we all think that everyone deserves the best life. So I think that's a way to pull them in there, Joelle. Yes, I will give you some money, $10. I'm a single mom on a budget, so it's good. It's good.
Hey, that's a coffee. That's 2 coffees though. Thank you.
What else do you like?
I like the last sentence. That
What
you
about
can
it?
help. You're getting them ready for life.
Yeah. Thank you. Actually, I took that from our website. That's something we try to say all the time. Like, let me pull that in there.
Yeah.
I particularly liked you using the word collectively in the last sentence. It felt like it just drew us in that much more.
Thank you, guys.
I second
I-
Megan's comment.
Yeah, same with the mention of community, like tying it to collectively so that, the audience feels like they're part of joining a group.
Thank you.
Or even it says life like multiple times throughout it, and all that really emphasizes the fact that it's not just a one-time donation, one-time thing. Like people hopefully live for a long time and you're continuing to support them throughout their entire lives. I think that's something that portrays pretty well.
Thank you.
I really liked your join us now call to action. I thought that was really strong, and having it kind of higher up in the call, I thought was a really, really smart move.
All right, let's transition. Anything that you would encourage to be refined, strengthened?
I think your first and last sentences are your strengths. As a former teacher, it's important to use person first language, and I'd be a little bit careful with how you're saying the lives of our developmentally disabled community. Like that should come, community word should come first when you're using person first language. But honestly, that you're just asking for donations. So I love the first sentence and just put donate now and let's collectively continue. Like the middle sentence seems to be, the other ones are so strong, it just makes that one look a little bit weaker to me.
Okay.
I think you can combine the first sentence and the second sentence together somehow. If you make that one sentence. And I would, when you do that, I would put the join us up front because it
First.
kind of makes it a little bit stronger. But overall, I like everything that you've said. It just could be a little bit shorter.
Switched a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd love to see an example of what the donation would do in here somehow.
Yeah, that's what I was left wondering, like, how does it help improve? I feel like I'm in it, but how am I doing it?
They want more, Joelle. They
One
want
more.
more. You've
Oh,
done
man.
it. Like, yes, I agree. And
Okay.
technically, I'll point out there's 3 sentences, so you are a smidge long. It's really supposed to be 1 or 2.
Okay.
Just, yeah. So I'd say my just overall comment, this isn't, we're not going to workshop it right now, but
Yeah.
any ways to tighten it up. You can take out the word now, join us in making, it's little things like that. I know your sense of urgency is important. But I think there's little tightenings up that you could do maybe just to make it even a little bit more punchy.
Okay.
But I like the let's again, we're all together. I'm talking to you. You're part of the family. Anything else positive or revisions that you would propose be considered?
I'm kind of a data geek. If there's any way to incorporate how your dollars have impacted what's going on, where they're going, that would be, how they say $2 feeds how many, something along the lines of that.
Okay.
All right. Last call for Joelle. Anything else? See, excellent job. Please join me. Round of applause. Wonderful.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and this is delayed for Christina. Woo, Christina.
There we go. Thank you.
All right. Excellent.
All right.
Let's see. I'm looking for Brian and he is not here. So Evelyn, can you hear? You're up, my friend, if you can.
Oh,
Hey.
you got me right in time. I literally just got home.
Oh, perfect. Do you want a minute? You want me to go to someone else and come back to you?
No, I'm perfectly fine. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I had a doctor appointment, but I just got home and I'm excited to be here. So thanks so much.
Well, no, it's wonderful to see your face. Thank you. All right, the floor is yours.
So I work for an organization called the Latino Network in Portland, Oregon, and we work with Latino youth, families, and communities to provide educational opportunities in the Portland, Oregon area. So the call to action that I made in my log line is for community advocates and donors, because we don't have too many issues drawing folks into our programs. Our programs are fairly popular and we're a fairly well-known org. So we want to really push for donors especially, and people to get more involved in the organization. And specifically, we want to tie that into our capital campaign for the construction of our new community center, which is the first Latino community center in the Portland area in Portland's history, which is amazing. So the logline that I have is the construction of our new community center provides a concrete example of how Latino Network provides positive transformation for Latino youth, families, and communities in Portland. Join us today and become a part of this historic investment in Portland's Latino community.
Okay. Can we do take 2 verbally?
Yeah. Our construction of our new community center provides a concrete example of how Latino Network provides positive transformation for Latino youth, families, and communities in Portland. Join us today and become a part of this historic investment in Portland's Latino community.
All right, and if you could kindly paste that in the chat. Awesome. I wanted to clarify something, Evelyn, if I could.
Sure.
Did I hear you on your audience? Is your audience for this particular log line both community advocates and donors? Because I also heard donors. So is it both, or is it more one than the other?
It's both, because we want to encourage folks in the community who want to support Latino community to become more involved and become donors. But this is also a pitch to existing donors. So it's kind of a pitch to both of those folks to kind of make them feel more involved in the construction of the center and the importance that it holds for the community going forward.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I will open it up. What did you like?
I love your planned
Well,
words with construction and concrete. And I really I love that. And of course, who doesn't want to help youth of like the city? You have a lot of strengths here. And then join us today is obviously like people want to buy in. So that's great.
I also love the last sentence, just the historic investment, I think is really strong. It captures people's attention and it makes me want to get involved. You know, who doesn't want to be a part of history?
I was gonna say the same exact thing. So, yep, same exact. I like that last line a lot.
I love the last line, but I also do really like the mention of the community center, because immediately it tells me in a way in which you are supporting Latino families is, okay, they built a community center. So it immediate open of I kind of can get an idea what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, anything else that really resonated with you? All right, let's transition. What are some ways, if at all, that the log line could be strengthened that you've identified?
Are you looking for donors and people just in Portland? Because that word's either going to like alienate those who are like nationwide and want to give you money to do that, or is that like part of your campaign?
We're looking for local donors primarily, because the work that we do is just in the Portland community. So we're looking for folks who want to like invest in that.
Okay.
It wasn't clear to me, like initially I thought it was that it was already constructed. So like I was trying to figure out how a donation would help with the construction. So maybe even just like tweaking the introduction of it, like we're constructing a new center, you know, and you can help us build it type of thing might like, because I don't know, maybe it was just a me thing, but I was just trying to figure out like, well, if it's already built, what could I do kind of a thing.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you for that. That's really useful. The small tweaks in language can make a big difference.
Is there anything about like specific programs that you guys provide or offer that you could tie in here somewhere, just so the reader understands what, or the audience understands what exactly some of these, how you're transforming lives exactly?
Yeah, I use the construction of the new community center as like the primary example, because it's like literally like it's the brick and mortar one. It's the one that folks can see with their own eyes. There are other examples that I could put, but I wanted to just do a catch-all with like positive transformation for youth, families, and communities to not get too tied down in the weeds.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So forgive me, I'm going to echo, I don't remember who said this. It's Shanna, I think it was you. I do think there's an opportunity for just clarifying. So Shanna, I had the same thought about, is it built? Is it not, you know, kind of a little murky there. So I'm wondering, and please don't quote me on this. Again, I'm saying this off the top of my head, so it's not probably going to sound too strong, but I'm just wondering if become a part of a historic investment in Portland's Latino community and by joining us in constructing blah, 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 blah is what I'm, you know, kind of flipping it there, is where I'm in a very poor manner trying to articulate. So just to get that ask kind of elevate it more so in front, so that they're aware of what's being the reason we're chatting, if you will, or emailing or whatever it is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll play around with it a little bit. It's always the little wordsmithing things that are.
It's the massaging, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the minor tweaking. This is really good, and I love, the plan words of the concrete example. So gold star for the creativity there. I'm digging that. Anything else? Any final feedback for Evelyn? All right, you know what to do by now, my friends. So unmute, give Evelyn a wonderful round of applause. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Good job. Good job. And Evelyn, I will just point out there are some comments here in the chat on feedback. So if you haven't seen them, they are there for you. Okay, Megan, you're up.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan. I'm the Communications and Public Relations Specialist at the Washington Poison Center, which you might all know better as a poison control center. So we're a nonprofit organization. We provide free emergency medical treatment advice to anyone, doctors, community members, EMS, whoever needs our assistance. So I chose to create a log line for donors because we have a lot of people who have called us and they want to figure out how they can give back after receiving our care, because we're always free, so we never accept payment from them. So I chose to write a log line for that character. So it is give back and pay it forward with a $65 donation to the Washington Poison Center. Your $65 will cover our services for the next Washingtonian needing life-saving expert help with an accident, medication mistake, or poison emergency. I'll read it one more time.
Thank you.
Give back and pay it forward with a $65 donation to the Washington Poison Center. Your $65 will cover our services for the next Washingtonian needing life-saving expert help with an accident, medication mistake, or poison emergency.
All right. Thanks.
There you go.
And there it is. All right. What do y'all like?
I absolutely loved it. I think it was very clear. The ask, $65. That's exactly like how much it would cost for them. And they know that it's going to cover the services and help someone directly for, again, saying it's the next person. So I think it's an amazing log line.
Great.
Thank you for that.
Great job on the give back, pay it forward. Like very, very engaging for sure. The back and forward. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
Yeah,
and I think it's always nice, like if you have received a service or needed to use a service, to think about how that helped you and then how it can help the next person. And so I feel like that's what it does. Like it makes me feel like, oh, I've had to use this. And so, yeah, I want somebody else to get the benefit that I got from it. So I think that came across very well.
I love the examples that you gave at the end, especially as somebody who may not be familiar with the organization, knowing exactly what kind of services you provide, I think makes us really strong.
I
And I'll
want to
just point
second
out,
that. Oh, sorry.
nope, all you.
I just wanted to second that because I don't think a lot of, well, I mean, I am not a poison expert, so I didn't even think about like a medication mistake. Like that didn't cross my mind. So including that in there is something, okay, like we could all do that. So you immediately relate.
I learned so much this week, Megan, in particular from I had no idea that your organization did all those things. So I am enlightened. I will point out that you did exactly, there have been a couple comments about, quantifying that impact of what $65, what X dollars does. Here's a perfect example of one very well done. So
thank you.
All right. Ways to strengthen. Anything that you would recommend she consider changing?
I wonder about the order of the sentences. I feel like giving the ask before the explanation will maybe like put folks a little bit on the back foot about like you're asking me for money before giving me a reason to care about your organization. It's very upfront, and I can see a lot of people who might appreciate that, but I just kind of like thinking out loud about like if like playing around with the order of the sentences could be beneficial.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Other thoughts? Sorry, I became entranced reading the words.
Other, like, I wonder if there's other like donation options, or if it needs to be like, or if you were just choosing an example, like it needs to be 65. I don't know. I mean, I don't suppose you're probably in charge of how much people like that, but I was just curious, like if there are other options out there, maybe including those too.
Okay.
What's the significance, if any, Megan, of 65? That's a good question. Is there?
Yeah, so that actually is the average cost of the first call to the Poison Center. So oftentimes a case will involve a lot more than one call, but $65 is about the cost of what, like our pharmacist who answers and all of the costs associated with that.
Okay.
I like the mention of $65. I think it gives you like an idea of what to expect originally. Sometimes you think to donate and you don't really know how much is it going to make a difference. But I think maybe removing it so it's not mentioned twice, just like maybe in the second one saying your gift will cover our services or something, because it's just already stated. So it could stay, but I think that might help it shorten.
Thank you. Any other final thoughts? All right, great job, Megan. Wonderful.
Thank you, everyone.
Perfect, great. Okay, Athena, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Athena Fleechik. I work for Feeding Matters, and they help kids that have pediatric feeding disorder. My target audience for this was like, we're working on awareness through our organization because people don't know about pediatric feeding disorder, and a lot of kids have it. So I just picked like mothers because I feel like it's gonna have to be like a grassroots start of like all these parents coming to their providers and saying, help, like what's wrong? So that's why I picked like a struggling, like a parent. Okay, I really took like I was thinking of like a movie. So stay with me here because I was like, this is a blockbuster. And I'm gonna sell it.
I'm loving the build up. I need to go put some popcorn.
Maybe I shouldn't build it up that much, but just it's a little graphic. But it's real. It's my true story.
Okay.
When a 6-month-old boy starts choking on every bite of food, an isolated mother finds the courage to battle her feelings of failure and reaches out to local nonprofits specializing in pediatric feeding disorder, ultimately resulting in improved care and quality of life for the entire family. I'll read it again. When a 6-month-old boy starts choking on every bite of food, an isolated mother finds the courage to battle her feelings of failure and reaches out to local nonprofits specializing in PFD, ultimately resulting in improved care and quality of life for the entire family.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what do you like?
For me, I'm a videographer and I do photography and all that stuff too. So I immediately got a photo in my head.
Okay, good. I wanted a visual, but I couldn't put a picture. I couldn't put a picture, so I'm like.
As graphic as it was, I immediately saw just like a story and like a trailer almost. It was like a movie trailer in my head.
Okay.
So yeah, that was you hit the nail on that for sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah. And as a mother also, like there's so many things that we feel like we fail on a lot. And so that, yes, that connection absolutely works. Like if your baby isn't eating, if they can't eat, if it, whatever it is, you do take all that so personally. And so I thought you did a great job pulling in that emotional connection.
What else do you like? Anything that hasn't been said? The visual is definitely there, Athena. Like it was
Too much, probably.
It
I gotta
was
pull back.
no, I'm a straight shooter, not in a bad way, not in a bad way at all. I mean, it's just like you've got mom right there, and you can visualize her, you can feel the inner struggle, the problems that we've talked about. It's like you brought it to life. And I think that results in connection, maybe empathy in some cases. I mean, there could be a myriad of emotions that come out of that. So no, I think it's all good.
Thank you.
All right, let's transition. Is there anything that you would recommend Athena do to strengthen it?
I'm taking notes.
I'm wondering if there's a way. I do love how everything is so visual. And I'm wondering if there's a way to weave in a more direct call to action, like a way that the mom could reach out. And I don't know, because like isn't as visual, but that's my only question.
That was my, like, when I was looking at it, I was like, but how do they do that? And I was like, that's not in there. Right.
But are you wanting more awareness? I mean, what are you wanting? What's your ultimate desire from this? So I'm not negating Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I think it's a great point. I guess I'm just questioning what it is. Is it general awareness about the organization? Because I think you preface some of your comments with Feeding Matters isn't as well known, perhaps. So what's
PFD isn't like kids that have it aren't. It's not like screened with a pediatrician.
Yeah. So what do you want? So if a mother is hearing this, whatever mode, what are you wanting them?
So I guess I need to put like call to like contact Feeding Matters. I need to like put that in there. That's what you mean? It's like there's a lot of struggling parents out there with kids that have feeding disorders. It's like you need to come to us.
Okay. But are you also potentially talking to mothers who don't have it? Or are you targeting this audience to mothers who have a child with it? So again, I'm narrowing, my point is I'm narrowing it down because what may resonate with, mothers is broad. And again, mothers may be fine if this is more of just an aware, an awareness to start. The other thing I noticed, Feeding Matters in this case, if awareness, so if you'll track with me for a moment, if it is more of an awareness, but even if it's not, it could be awareness either way. It could be broad audience, not aware. It could be mother with a child, not aware, but it doesn't say Feeding Matters in here. And I think that there's an opportunity, reaches out to a local nonprofit, reaches out to Feeding Matters, a local nonprofit specializing, blah, blah, blah. I also I'm not going to workshop it here. I think it's one sentence and it's long. So I'm wondering if there's a way to cut it into two, maybe to give there just to be a pause, if there's a natural pausing point. Those are just some top of mind thoughts. And I think the word ultimately, I don't think you need the word ultimately. I think it's just resulting in improved care. Again, just trying to tighten it up just a little bit.
The same thing. Yeah.
Not a filler word. Yeah.
I'm wondering if
other thoughts.
Yeah, if there's maybe a way to broaden the parental category a little bit to not just mothers. I mean, maybe that is like primarily who comes in, but just, it's a little bit like exclusive.
I was thinking about that, Shane, and I was like, you're like the poor fathers who are like doing this too.
Like, grandparents, like, anyone who's a caregiver, I guess,
Right.
of one of the children.
Yeah, because every family is different. Which I just read the book with my son, so I should be like, every family is different. Because I talked to him like, not everyone has a mother or a father, or it's like who takes care of you. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I had read your full story before the log line, and
My partner.
I thought one of the most compelling parts of it was how long the process took before the mom was able to connect with Feeding Matters. And I feel like you kind of have it there in the isolated mother line, but that was just so compelling when you had that repeated throughout. It was like a central theme in your story. And I feel like that isn't really represented here. So if you are doing it as like an awareness piece, I feel like that's a really key part to communicate.
Thank you. It's so true. Because when there's like struggle for so long thing and they're failing and that they're not supposed to fail on that. So we don't talk about it. Like, you're supposed to feed your child. That's your only job. Okay, well, I can't do it. Thank you, Megan. That's a great point.
Any other thoughts? All right, wonderful job, Athena. Please help me in congratulating her on a job well done.
Thank you.
Would you like to thank the Academy? Anything in an acceptance
Did you
speech?
notice that?
Since you're
Thank
going,
you so much to all my peers and wonderful. I was telling my team about how amazing all your jobs are and like where you're all from. I was like, there's someone from this place and this place. They're like, Athena. I'm like, but it's so cool to get like feedback and read everyone's stories, because you learn. I'm taking notes while you guys are doing yours about how to improve mine, and it's just, I love it. So thank you for all your feedback.
Good. All right. Sharon, you are up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon Elliott. I am the Marketing and Communications Director for Boyce Thompson Arboretum in Superior, Arizona. We're a 100-year-old organization, or almost 100 years old. Next year will be our centennial celebration. So keep that in mind when I'm presenting my log line. So my audience is ticket holders who are curious about the origin story of our organization. So oftentimes we get people who come to visit who tour the gardens, and then it's also a historical landmark, so they want to know more about our origin story. So my log line is, during the Great Depression, a committed group of individuals working for a desert arboretum faced a challenge to safeguard their research facility and sanctuary of diverse plant life amidst economic turmoil. Their efforts to preserve this symbol of hope, resilience, and conservation have resulted in Arizona's largest botanical garden, and their legacy continues today. So one more time. During the Great Depression, a committed group of individuals working for a desert arboretum faced a challenge to safeguard their research facility and sanctuary of diverse plant life amidst economic turmoil. Their efforts to preserve this symbol of hope, resilience, and conservation have resulted in Arizona's largest botanical garden, and their legacy continues today.
Thank you. If you could paste it.
Absolutely.
Bye, Joelle.
Hi, guys. Good job, everyone.
All right. And there is Sharon's log line in the chat.
Okay, I just have to say that I'm a writer. I was a writing teacher for 20 years. So and I'm a history geek. So this is like perfect for me. I'm like, I want the book. Like, I want to know the story. So I just want to say you hit like a nerd groove here for those of us who are deeply appreciative of that stuff. So I enjoyed it for that purpose.
Thank you.
And she's not even a ticket holder. So
thank you.
I love it. I love it. All right. What do you like?
I love you talking about what challenge they face. People love talking about challenges, and it makes you feel like more connected to something. And like the efforts to preserve the symbol, like you really use a lot of like, you paint a beautiful picture, Sharon.
Thank you.
And I want to give you money. I I
this
love the
call
Arboretum
is
though. I
costing
haven't
you
been,
a
but I
lot
love
of
it.
money
I
now.
know, right now I'm up to $10. I'm at $20 now.
I know, you better be careful.
I totally agree. Just the beautiful language that you chose paints such a beautiful picture and really draws me in, hope, resilience. It's all really, really so well written.
Thank you.
Anything else? I feel like I went on the journey with you. It was like, in my head, it was once upon a time. And there was this, and then this, and then this, and then we tie it up with a bow. I mean, I just, and in a very succinct manner, which you've just covered a lot of time span in that. And you did it very, very well. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
All right, let's transition in. Any recommendations for strengthening on Sharon's logline?
I'm not clear on what you want us to do. I mean, reading this and loving nature, my instinct would be like, well, I am nowhere near Arizona, but if I ever go, I definitely will stop there. But I didn't know if there was something you wanted, us to do on our part.
Yeah, I definitely had it from a marketing background. It was hard for me not to put a call to action in there. But my intent was, people, we often get, even though we've been around for 100 years, there's people who've lived in Arizona, and we hear this all the time, 20, 30, 40 years, who don't know that we existed. And then they come and they want to know how all of this got here in the middle of a very rural small town. So I think you're right, though. I think trying to rework it and figuring out a strong call to action in there, I think will only strengthen it.
I think
And
all
on
you
that,
do is oh, sorry.
No, please.
I was just gonna say help our efforts. You just need to change one word, like a last one, help our efforts to preserve the symbol. That's all you need to do. That doesn't have to be a big thing, right?
Or I was wondering
so
how. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'll quit talking. Go ahead.
I was just wondering how their legacy continues on today. That part kind of just it wasn't finished for me. So I wonder if you could have your call to action be something about how the people reading this can continue their legacy.
That's a good point.
And then I'll just use this opportunity, since we're talking about calls to action, if you remember, you don't, that's fine. There are really kind of two calls to action, two categories. There's that direct call to action. So give now, it's very explicit. Or the other category is transitional. So this is that low risk. It's using to build a relationship. So that can be you can learn more by watching this founding film that we have, or that goes into more depth about our history, or you can join our mailing list to, that's so, just remember the pressure's not on always for a call to action to be so, again, if you're doing this, this is the beginning of a conversation, but there are different ways to go about it.
Very good.
Anything else before we close with Sharon? All right, please join me in congratulating her. Wonderful, wonderful, very well done. Thank you for sharing. Shariah.
Hi. I apologize. I might be a little noisy over here. I'm in nature, so I'm sorry for that.
You don't have to apologize for that. I'm jealous personally.
My name is Shariah. I work with Families for Families. It's a small nonprofit in DC, and I am the program coordinator of that organization. I will paste my tagline, my log line in now, and say it.
Oh, who's your audience?
Oh, my audience is potential students.
Okay.
Okay. So Families for Families provides high school students who want to make a change, but don't feel as if they have the power or money to effectively make a change. The framework and playbook to be a successful young philanthropist by having them start a student chapter at their school in order to address food insecurity in their communities. And then I'll say it again. Families for Families provides high school students who want to make a change, but don't feel as if they have the power or money to effectively make the change. The framework and playbook to be successful young philanthropists by having them start a student chapter at their school in order to address food insecurity within their communities.
May I ask a clarifying question? So Shariah, on your audience, when you say potential students, do you mean youth that are students?
Yes. I mean, technically we've done students of all ages between elementary school and college students, but virtually youth, yes.
Okay, okay, got it. All right. So with that, what do you like?
I like the feeling you create when you talk about how people can feel like they don't have any power to do anything. Like I think we've all felt that at a certain point in our life. So that's like a universal theme that's really strong here. And of course, food insecurity is like, as a teacher, I used to have kids that would hide food and do all that stuff they do. So it's like a big thing. I like those 2 points are important.
And I like that you clearly put in here that you provide a framework and playbook for them. So it's very direct. They know that they're going to get like the support and like the direction they need to start this.
Thank you. Thank you. The organization started off just focusing on food insecurity, but then we noticed that, oh, and by the way, we're like a COVID baby. So we had our like 3-year anniversary like the other day. So we're very young, very fresh, but it started off as just food insecurity. It was neighborhood people showing up and delivering fresh food, and then transferring it to communities that were in need. But students ended up taking on that charge, and we eventually went into schools, and we have actual student chapters where the students are running the entire organization. And the goal is just to have as many as possible, because ultimately, once the students know how to do it, it spreads to everyone else, and they host the events that end up collecting all of the food and providing them for members of their communities or nearby communities.
Cool.
Shariah, I feel like the story you just told was really engaging, and I'm wondering if getting the origin of it in there might be equally as compelling to students. Like, that's really endearing, and they also just experienced 3 years of pretty awful circumstances and potentially were in that situation of food insecurity. So I think it could be really somehow engaging to work that in a little bit. And I just jumped right there because I wanted to say the strength was like that story that you just told, that origin story.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know how I would be able to properly like transcribe that into the log line, especially because the goal was just students start a chapter, we can help. Especially because a lot of students don't feel like they have the power to do anything, especially if they don't have the money or the means to do those types of things. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know how to transfer that into something where it's like, let me tell you a story in 2 sentences, I like, even my thing, it's so long because it's like running along. Okay, I want to get this in, I want to get this in, I want to get this in. And that's why it ended up being as long as it is. So I definitely was struggling with figuring it out how to say what I want to say without going overboard.
The struggle is real. It's common. It's felt by all of us. It's a healthy, normal thing. It's not any less frustrating at times, I know. But yeah. I think noodle on Shanna's comment because I think it's an excellent suggestion. And you can work it through your brain over time too. I have a closing comment. I'll say that for my closing comment. Anything else that you liked? All right, so let's move on to, are there recommendations for enhancement for Shariah? Shariah's log line that you would offer?
My first thought is maybe flipping the order and starting with Families for Families enable students to create student chapters at their schools to address food insecurity. I think that might draw attention in a little quicker than having it at the bottom.
Okay, gotcha. That's a good one. Thank you.
And I like that you use the word philanthropist to talk about students. And that those are like the tools you provide, help them to see how they can become philanthropists. But I wonder if there's a way to condense in the first line, the high school students who want to make a change but don't feel they have the power. And we all know that's like a very real feeling. So I understand wanting to have that in there, but I wonder if there's a way to condense that a little bit somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Even just saying Families to Families empowers high school students, kind of just like puts it, empowers high school students too. And then, finishing that off as one sentence and then like separating the idea of how afterwards would help, I think.
Okay, right.
Also, the logline has so much good info in it, but I feel like might be more effective if you split it up into a couple of different sentences. Right now, it's a little bit hard to parse because it's one really long sentence, and it might be a little more easily digestible if you cut it into a couple of or two or three.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, I definitely struggle trying to figure out how that would make sense, but you guys' feedback definitely helps. So I can, separate it into multiple sentences, flip it so the focus is at the front, and genuinely just shorten it a little bit, because ultimately I'm hoping that after the logline is said, there's a conversation and that leads into the rest of it.
Yeah. And then if I could offer Evelyn +1 on the comment there, I concur wholeheartedly. I'm wondering, well, I'd like to see you use, so remember, you're talking to the student in theory, right? So by having you start a chapter at your school. The other thing is, I wonder if you could open with a question, do you want to make a change, but don't feel you have the power or money to blah, 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 blah. So just maybe another way, you've got so many options. You're going to have so many different great log lines you won't know what to do with. But I think just, cutting it down. I would, if I were to give you a priority order in my, cut it, like separate it. And then see how those pieces fit together. Keep in mind to see if you can weave in the origin somehow. I think it's there. Again, you don't have to tell the whole, but just enough, I think, to wet that whistle. Anything else before we close with Shariah? All right, join me in applauding her excellent work. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, Shanna.
From Chicago. I'm Shana.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm between roles right now. I just wrapped up a role as a grant writer for a nonprofit educational organization. And as I said before, I was a teacher and had a bit of a transition into the grant writing world. So here I find myself seeking a new role and back in classes, which is also kind of fun. So instead of going with an organization that I chose at the beginning, I decided to use the project I just did. So I just started a project in 2021 after visiting some museums. I was like extremely stressed from teaching through the first year and a half of the pandemic. And so I worked at a community college. I taught college English for 7 years there. I'm in Chicago, so we were hit hard and it was stressful. Everywhere was hit hard. I don't want to minimize. So I thought it'd be really great if like all the museums sort of collectively in the state ran exhibits on mental health, like at the same time as a show of force, like, we are with you, population. And everything had just reopened at that point. So I reached out, wrote a grant, and year and a half later, we wrapped up the project. Mental Health Awareness Month, we brought on a rural, urban, and suburban location museum community organization. So that was long, but that is what I'm describing. The audience here was getting people there. It wasn't donations. We weren't taking donations. We wanted people to come back into museums, and we wanted people to feel seen and heard, that we all just experienced a trauma, to, and also acknowledge people who have mental health conditions, who are experiencing those even prior to the pandemic, to get them in and start a dialogue. So that was sort of the audience. We were thinking, we want people to come to these exhibits that are going to be enacted. So I will read my tagline, my log line, and then I will paste it in the chat. Actually, let me just paste it now. Okay. So it was called the Resiliency Collective. So the Resiliency Collective invites you to understand the meaning of our most challenging experiences through workshops, oral histories, photos, poetry, and art. Join us in person or virtually and share this collective healing at your own pace and comfort level. So there is that. Ready for feedback. Feel free to ask questions too if I didn't do it justice there.
All right, what do you like?
It feels so calming to me just reading it. Like just reading it feels like kind of therapeutic on its own. Yeah, I like that.
No, I was like, I'll be collectively healed as well. Can I do this again? Write another grant.
Yeah, we are hoping to. I'm having a conversation with, so I applied through the Illinois Association of Museums, and they're not like, they're literally like a board of museum executives. And I just cold called, it just started reaching out. And I'm talking to the president again on Sunday, and we were talking about applying again. So yeah, that's the hope here.
I like the idea of like struggling together and then healing together, because we all kind of struggle together and they want us to heal together. It's a good part of it.
Yeah. So similar to that, I really like the invites you to understand. I think it's a very welcoming start to that statement. And when you're approaching a challenging experience, I think that's a wonderful way to open that statement.
I think it's really important that you put the at your own pace and comfort level at the end, because it's scary. Collective healing is scary. So it can be. So yeah, just being able to do that in a way that you're comfortable is really important, I think.
Well, Megan stole my comment, so +1 on that. I like the individual aspect that it is so evident that it's about me. And I feel like you truly care about me in a relatively, short manner. That's amazing that you can convey that. I think I'm always in awe. Words matter. So great.
Well, good news that teaching writing for 2 decades has some positive effect. I'm really glad to see. Yeah, no, I actually felt that. Like I wanted it to be that.
Okay.
My goal was that not everybody can talk about what they're feeling, and not everybody can do therapy because it's just too intimidating. And I thought, but this is a way of catharsis where you just don't have to do anything. You can just come and look at pictures. And that's a form of processing. And so those also were the audience members I was thinking about.
And I also liked the fact that it can be in person. Again, you're removing any potential objections I may And so I mean, honestly, I mean, everyone, you know, people are pressed for time. It's so easy to, and sometimes our own well-being is put on the back burner due to other things that are competing interests, right? So I liked the in-person and virtually. I was like, great. I mean, again, you just intrigued me more because I was like, all right, it's going to be easy. It's going to be easy to do. Anything else before we transition? I'm sorry, you're hearing my cat probably. So let's transition. Thank you, Dr. Let's transition to constructive feedback. Anything that you would recommend that Shayna change, revise to enhance it?
I have more of a clarifying question that I don't know if it will help at all, but when you say some of our most challenging experiences, is that throughout history? Is that COVID specific? I just wonder if clarifying that at all would be helpful in illustrating a more clear picture.
That was
And out of curiosity, is it throughout history?
Because like
So-
your background's so good about like mental health and stuff. And I was like, can you maybe put that in there? Like, because it's like, it's a lot. I agree. And it's like, which one?
You know what, it was, so it was in, this was part of the, I mean, I changed it for this assignment, but this was sort of part of the media toolkit I created for the museums to do. And one of the things like I really deliberated on was putting the words mental health was really stigmatizing for one in particular museum. Their community had a huge stigma around the idea of mental health. So we did add that to some of the other sentences around it, but I take your point for sure. It was in a lot of the other like media, and it was in this was in, but I wanted the log line anyway to even be more open than just naming it, when the whole point, right, is to destigmatize. But like presenting the stigma up front, I thought was daunting. And I don't mean to be defensive. I did want to just clarify. So I think that's great. And I think, you know, point taken for sure.
Any other feedback? All right. Then please unmute yourself if you're willing and make some noise for Shayna. Great job. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks all.
All right, Jacqueline.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Batson, and I am the communications manager for St. Mary's Center for Women and Children, which is a multi-service homeless shelter supporting about 500 women, children, and families experiencing homelessness in Boston, Massachusetts. And the audience that I chose for this project, which I will say was super helpful in helping me condense the many services that we offer. So the audience that I chose is a prospective resident. And just to give a little bit of context, St. Mary's Center is unique in that we provide a longer term shelter stay for women with their children. So families are with us for about 18 months. And during their time, in addition to the residential services that we offer and kind of basic needs, food, everything, we also offer really comprehensive supportive services. And that's really what I wanted to highlight. It's something that really differentiates us from other similar organizations in the Boston area. So I really wanted to focus on a prospective resident in illustrating how St. Mary's Center will benefit them on their journey out of homelessness and towards stability.
Wonderful.
With that being said, my log line is St. Mary's Center's wraparound supportive services offer women and families experiencing homelessness a holistic array of supports, including access to behavioral health and education and employment services to help break down barriers and empower them for a more thriving, stable future. I'll read it again. St. Mary's Center's wraparound supportive services offer women and families experiencing homelessness a holistic array of supports, including access to behavioral health and education and employment services to help break down barriers and empower them for a more stable, thriving future. And I will paste it in the chat.
Thank you. And there it is. All right, what do you like?
I love the examples that you gave, the types of things that you described, the services, I guess, that St. Mary Center does, being able to actually describe what they are so people know exactly what they're supporting is really nice.
Thank you.
I also appreciate the wraparound and the holistic coming in, because it does, I can imagine the overwhelming feelings of how many barriers it must seem like they are. And this sort of like might prompt me to think, oh, like, but they can do everything, or they can do a lot of this.
Totally. And that's something that we really focus on, is meeting families where they are and understanding their unique needs, really what led them to the place of experiencing homelessness, and addressing things that they may be feeling that are in their way from long-term stability. So thank you.
Yeah, I like the use of the words thriving and stable at the end, because I would imagine those are things that the women and the families that you serve are really craving and wanting, and like that's their goal, is to be thriving and stable.
And Athena just posted
Thank you.
feedback there too. Yeah, I just honestly, Jacqueline, I echo everything that's been said. It feels like the word wraparound. I just feel like there's this comfort, safety, security that emotes from it. That's the vibe, the tenor I'm getting, which I think is very appropriate.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to recommendations. Anything that you would offer, Jacqueline, to consider to strengthen it?
I feel like you could be a little bit more explicit about a call to action. Because right now it's a little bit like descriptive, which is really great, because I understand really well about what your org does. But I feel like there needs to be a call to action, and therefore what you're asking the target audience to do with the information.
Totally. That's a really good point.
And that's just one sentence. So you've got another sentence available to you, should you so choose. So
really great point.
Same with mine. It's like, do I walk in? Like, I want to go here. Do I walk in? Do I call you? Are you going to call me to put my name somewhere? How do we do this?
Jacqueline, a thought I had, because if I understood you, and please do correct me if I'm under an incorrect understanding, you're talking to someone directly here, or you're communicating in some fashion directly to a potential resident, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So if that's the case, because I feel like you're talking about them sometimes in this, and by that I mean, so St. Mary's Center's wraparound supportive services offer you and your family who is experiencing homelessness, a holistic. I'm just making a point. Don't you do this verbatim, please. And empower them. So empower you for a more thriving, stable future. And I just like when I got a little fired up in a good way reading this. It was like, help break down barriers. I'm like, kick down the damn barriers. I just want to like, let's do it,
Yeah.
So those are just some thoughts. Again, remembering that you're communicating, you're speaking with I don't know, with someone who you are wanting to invite in and make them aware.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Thank you.
Any other thoughts for Jacqueline? All right. So the time has arrived to congratulate her on a job very well done. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Is it Kayleen? Am I saying that correctly?
You are, which is very rare to get it right the first time. So congratulations.
Good. All right. The floor is yours.
Wonderful. First off, everyone's has been so amazing that this whole time I've been sitting here going, I should have done that, or wait, no, I need to tweak this. So everyone did a great job. I've been with the Michigan Municipal League Foundation for 2 years come August. For background, our overarching goal is to create thriving communities in Michigan. That entails a very, very wide range of different services. So we give grants, we offer technical assistance for state and federal funding, we educate local elected officials. So pinning down an audience for anything usually means pinning down a specific program. So I decided to focus on the education of our local officials and leaders. Specifically, the audience I wanted to do was donors who want to support local government, but don't necessarily want to be involved in politics or anything regarding campaigning or things like that, which is actually pretty common. So the logline is, I'll read it twice. We provide those who wish to support local governments the commitment that their donation will provide education and resources to Michigan municipal staff and leaders, regardless of region, political affiliation, or wealth. Learning fuels innovation, and all Michigan communities deserve innovative leaders that will sustain positive change. Again, we provide those who wish to support local government the commitment that their donation will provide education and resources to Michigan municipal staff and leaders, regardless of region, political affiliation, or wealth. Learning fuels innovation, and all Michigan communities deserve innovative leaders that will sustain positive change. And let's see, multi-screens, there we go.
You.
So hit me
There
with
it
it, guys.
I think that last sentence, linking the community with the leaders is like really, really strong. Like we see both of you in this role here.
Thank you.
I love the learning fuels innovation line.
I do too.
It's so good.
I love the idea of like supporting your leaders, because you don't really think like that. So it's like a kind of like an innovative concept that you'd be, our leaders are supposed to be taking care of us and like supporting us, but it goes both ways. So I like that you brought that up.
Yeah, and also that you were specific about that you're providing these education and resources regardless of any political affiliation or money or anything like that, because everything is so like politically charged. And so knowing that you're spreading out those resources to everyone, no matter what, I think is very helpful.
Thank you. I struggled with that line a little bit because I think besides political affiliation, there's a huge sense of regionalism in Michigan where like rural communities aren't getting the support that it says Detroit's getting, even though Detroit is a huge city, there's plenty of other cities in Michigan. And I was trying to do the same thing with regionalism of the wealth of the less, the communities that aren't getting as much support still deserve education, but I don't think I conveyed that as strongly as I could have as well.
Any other positive comments, things you liked?
I really love the last line, especially just ending on sustain positive change. I think that's something that everybody can get behind. So as, you know, a call to action, I think that's strong.
Thank you.
I love that you communicate and convey that your commitment. It's like, here's where we stand, here's what we offer, here's what we're about. I really like that. Okay, and then let's open it up for feedback on ways that this could be enhanced, if at all.
I'm more of like a question. I'm wondering like what kind of education and resources municipal staff and leaders might need or not have, you know, what kinds of things wouldn't they know? You know, I would assume, you know, I should not assume that being from Chicago that our leaders know what they're doing. I should know better. But you know, I guess yeah, I'm curious, like, well, what kind of education do they need?
Yeah, so I think it falls into two different categories of elected officials have a really, at least for Michigan, the turnover rate is usually 2.5 years we get new elected, which means there's thousands of new elected officials every year that may not have any background in local government. They don't really know the legislation or rules for what they're supposed to do. So we provide the baseline of this is how you handle meetings and things, but we also do a lot of heavy training with DEI and community engagement and how to actively connect with specific populations they may need to reach, which is different for every city. And then staff is kind of similar, except that they have just nationwide, there's a record low for local government staffing. There's just not enough people and there's not enough funding. So what you have is one person doing like 8 people's jobs, which I'm sure nonprofit we're all kind of familiar with. It's a very similar situation. So we provide them just support on how to make connections that may help them if they come up with an idea of what they want to change in their city and they may not have the ability to do that. Maybe we connect them or teach them how to connect with a city nearby that they could collaborate with, as well as what we do with local elected officials. So yeah, none of that's in there, but that would be something that would probably be useful to be included in there if I could get it to a tight one sentence.
May I offer a suggestion then in that?
I'd love that, please.
Well, I didn't say it was a viable one, but it is a suggestion nonetheless. So if you remember your audience as you describe them, you already know who this is targeting, right? So you already know that about your character / target audience, that these are the individuals who wish to support local government, but really don't want to be in the political realm. So I don't feel like it's necessary that you state that because you've already identified that this is your audience that you're speaking to. So could you start your log line with something to the effect of, we commit to you that your donation will, continue on, or our commitment to you is that your donate, something along those lines, because I feel like you're talking about them, but you're talking to them. And so that might provide an opportunity for you to tighten it up and give you a little bit more bandwidth to incorporate some other things if you so choose.
Yeah, great feedback.
I think too, like even something as simple as like support the government, not the politics, is like just sort of straightforward where you're talking to an audience member, like in the second, person address. But just saying that part sort of simply, and then maybe talking a little bit more about what you do want to talk about in there.
Yeah.
But don't
that sounds great.
Don't lose the word commitment. I like it a lot. I really do. I think it's solid. Any other suggestions or thoughts for Kayleen? All right, with that, please join me in extending our gratitude for being the last live person here today.
Thank you everybody for the feedback.
Now, we're not done, but we're getting close. So there are 3 individuals of your colleagues that couldn't be here, but they sent me your log lines and they are going to watch this so we can say hello to them. But I'm going to read them. We're going to do the same exercise, but I'm going to be representing them. If you ask me questions, I most likely will not be able to answer them, but I will do my best based on what I've gleaned from the reading for this week if you do have questions. So with that, the first one is Anna, and she is with the Chica Project. And she gave a description of her audience that I want to read to you. So the audience is a donor who does not know how the organization's mission, how the organization impacts who does not know the organization's mission, how the organization impacts the lives of participating girls, and how their money is used to fulfill the organization's mission. So that's her audience. And then here is the log line. Unlock the potential of a generation and bridge the gap with the Chica Project. Empower young Latinas and women of color through your donation, fueling a life-changing journey of skills, confidence, and opportunities, creating a brighter future for us all. Unlock the potential of a generation and bridge the gap with the Chica Project. Empower young Latinas and women of color through your donation, fueling a life-changing journey of skills, confidence, and opportunities, creating a brighter future for us all. What do you like?
It's like a cheerleader, and I love it. That's what I feel like. I'm going, rah, rah, yes, let's do it. It's very positive and hopeful.
Yeah, I like the very beginning, unlocking the potential.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a great call there.
Yeah, it grabs you.
I also love that last line, creating a brighter future for us all by empowering, one group of young women. It really helps all of us. So I really like that.
Yeah, I like the last sentence a lot. That in addition to the fueling a life-changing journey is really just like very image-based to me. I don't know. I really like that line.
All right. Any recommendations then on ways that this could be strengthened?
I'm not sure the bridge the gap is needed.
I agree.
I think unlock the potential of a generation with the Chica Project pretty much says it.
There's like two different things. Like they're both like on their own, something that you would focus on.
I'm sorry, Julie, did she say who the audience was? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's a donor who does not know the organization's mission or how the organization impacts the lives of participating girls and how their money is used to fulfill the organization's mission.
I would also love to see maybe more specifics on how the organization does these things. How do they fuel a life-changing journey? What specific services do they provide?
Mm-hmm. And I think I could see this being she's already got 2 sentences.
I'm curious too, how many girls they serve at a time, like through this, like total, or is it like a year-long program? Is it like a couple? I don't know. I'm curious about that too, but that could just be something that you would then follow up and ask later. Just a thought.
I think reading this, I think we're all just hungry for details. I mean, the 2-sentence limit really does kind of hit us,
it makes it hard. Yeah. But it's good. Then it's doing its job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I read this and I think, is it local? Is it national? So I don't know. That might be something I'd love to learn more about in the statement.
That could be easily woven in, I think, narrowing down the geography. And again, you're going to know, hopefully you've done some research. I mean, all donors are not created equal. So what is it that you want a donation? Are these current donors? Are you wanting them to increase their donation? Or are you doing it as a cultivation technique? So, I think asking yourself those questions as you're crafting these just really allows you to hone in and just really target what it is via the verbiage that's included there. And then I also I would suggest somehow maybe flipping it, empower young Latinas and women of color through your donation. Maybe it's your donation will. It's like, what is that impact? We've talked about before, is there a way to quantify? Don't know if it's appropriate or not. That's, just food for thought there. Yeah, any greater specificity to paint that picture, like we've talked about, as to what is this life-changing journey? We've got an idea, but if there's more, again, if these are existing donors, they probably have some level of understanding of what you do, but it's also a great opportunity to further and deepen their understanding of your organization's an aspect perhaps of your organization's mission and services. All right, so Anna, you're not with us, but you are in spirit, so great job. Thank you very much. So next we have Emma, and she is with the Musical Instrument Museum. We call it MIM here in Arizona. The audience is a parent. And before I paste the log line, she included the problem, I think to assist us kind of in mentally preparing to give feedback here. So the problem for the parent is they want to sign their little one up for a fun music making class, but don't know where to go. And they're worried that they'll waste money on a class that isn't engaging or developmentally appropriate for their child. So the log line, I will paste here and then I will read it. Our early childhood education programs help parents introduce their little ones to the world's diverse music while also developing their child's motor, pre-language, and musical skills. Our early childhood educational programs help parents introduce their little ones to the world's diverse music while also developing their child's motor, pre-language, and musical skills. What do you like?
I think every parent needs help, and the fact that you're telling how you're going to help us is great. Yes, please. I want help with all of this.
I feel like it's so concise, but you do get an understanding of what is offered. I like that.
Mhm. I like the phrase little ones in there too, because that's something I think about when I am sending out communication to families is like, how do I not use education language? Like, how do I make it just very relatable and, very conversational? And I know that was in our reading, one of our readings too. So I think that's a cute one to use.
I agree.
I like that she names the deliverables there, like learning outcomes, because I could see like a parent of a young child is, not necessarily needing them to become a violinist, but developing the skills that they need now. And so naming those, I think, was helpful.
I agree. I'm going to pause just to say, did Shirai jump off? Oh, okay. Bye, Shirai. Okay, what could be done, if at all, to enhance this?
I think if her worry is like how to sign him up, she should put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
What do you want him to do?
Yeah.
What's
That's an
the
easy
next
fix because it's already so good that you would just tell this next one more step. Tell me how to do it because I want to. Maybe like something about the cost or something because your parents are worried about how much it's going to cost.
That it is affordable or accessible, whatever.
And everyone loves the MIM, but it's still neat. Yeah, but it's still like what's gonna happen here?
I would love to see what happens? Like, what is this diverse world of music? What do they encounter there? Like, I wouldn't anticipate a parent might know what kinds of instruments or cultures they might be learning. So I think putting some of that in there would help too.
Yeah, that was going to be my question as well, especially since part of the problem is they worry, it's not going to be fun essentially or engaging. So they have all this language on like developing motor skills and pre-language skills. That doesn't necessarily sound fun. So how are they going to make it engaging?
Yep. Minor recommendation on my part. Again, you're talking to the parents here. So you don't need our early childhood educational programs help you introduce, because again, you're speaking to your character / target audience there. All right, last call for feedback on Rachel's. No, excuse me, Emma's. All right, so got to give Emma a shout out. Good job. Excellence, excellence. And then our final one is Rachel, and she is with an organization called Friends of Youth. The character is a donor, and she also included problem and the log line. So I'm just going to paste it all here. There's the 3 problems. And I'll read it. I'll read the log line. We give community members an opportunity to make a meaningful long-term impact in the lives of youth who are homeless. Our donors help provide individualized support to youth in need, ensuring they can meet their basic needs, overcome adversity, and achieve their individual goals. We give community members an opportunity to make a meaningful long-term impact in the lives of youth who are homeless. Our donors help provide individualized support to youth in need, ensuring they can meet their basic needs, overcome adversity, and achieve their individual goals. What are the positives? What do you like about this?
I think we all want to make a positive long-term impact on people. So I think that's super important.
I will say, so I know Friends of Youth is in Seattle, which is also where I'm at. And people experiencing homelessness is a highly volatile issue right now, where there's a lot of conversation around money and how it's not going towards long-term impact. So I think she really nailed this in including that language in there.
Thank you for that localized context. That's very helpful.
I think that individualized, the word individualized was also really working here to demonstrate that, you know, not everybody needs everything, but some people need some really specific things. And I think anybody who's in a community experiencing a lot of homelessness probably acknowledges the same.
Agreed. Any final positives that you want to make sure she hears?
I really like how she ended it. The way I see that is kind of 3 steps. 1, you're helping meet basic needs, then overcoming adversity, kind of jumping through those hoops, and then achieving individual goals, kind of that long-term impact. I think those 3 key sections are really impactful. I like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was going to point those out too, that it's very clear the things that they're working on and working towards.
Wonderful. All right. And what feedback do you have for any potential changes that she can make to strengthen it?
I think for me, she uses community members and donors as supposed to be apparently the same thing, but I don't think that's what we want to be doing. So I would just be like, we give our donors an opportunity, and then second sentence, your donation will help provide, like, if that's what she's doing. Cause I was like, wait, which one?
Yeah.
Cause I don't think I'm a donor for everything. I think I'm a community member for everything, but not like a donor for everything. So it's like 2 different things.
Yeah. And I think it could be a simple fix. I agree with you, Athena.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to make a meaningful long-term impact in the lives of youth who are homeless. You help provide, you know, again, you're not talking around them, we're talking with. So yes, I agree. Any other suggestions that you would offer? All right. I think it's really good. So with that, it's our final shout out. So let's make it count for Rachel. So excellent job, Rachel.
Woo! I think we should have one for Julie. Now it's Julie, shut up. Everyone for Julie.
Oh
yeah. Go on. Thank you. Thank you very much. So as I wrap up, a couple of just housekeeping things, and then just some final thoughts kind of to augment the course materials, if you're willing for me to share a couple thoughts for you to keep top of mind as you go out into the world, continuing to tell your stories. The first is, you don't have to do anything beyond this point. I'm going to enter your points, participation, and your course project points. So there's no action required. You are officially done. So congratulations. I would also ask you, if you'd be so kind, to please complete the evaluation. That link will come out to you. So if you could just take a few minutes, we'd really, I know I'm speaking on behalf of the Lodestar team and myself, would really appreciate the feedback. And with that, just a couple of closing comments. So there's tremendous power in telling others about your personal experiences with your organization. It evokes emotion. So if you remember in the elements of a story assignment, it was that template, and you were asked to come up with 2 examples, a personal experience you had, and it could be also your personal experience with a service of your organization or someone else. Many of you have really powerful firsthand experiences, and those get discounted. You just kind of don't think about them. But when you are talking first person about what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, it's huge. So just remember that as you're continuing your journey and you're continuing your tenure with your respective organizations, or future employers, or those that you volunteer with, whatever that is, you've got some stuff there. So it's just paying attention to that. A log line is a very powerful way to communicate it. Share it with others internally. So I would encourage you to take these log lines, if you need to finesse them, feel free to do it. Others in your organization, even volunteers, may want to adapt and use it for their own purposes. So share the wealth and share the knowledge. Storytelling is often used externally, but I would encourage you to consider using it internally. You can use it to advance an idea. So it's multifaceted, and it's not just always for external. That's where our mind goes. But what better way to keep doing that and just making that part of your normal behavior is using it internally as well. And I said this, I started to say this and I had to catch myself, but I really want to emphasize for you, who is your character and who is your / audience. Knowing the more that you know about those individuals, the stronger you're going to be able to target them, and the more you're going to be able to connect with them. So what do you know about them? What actions do you desire? Actions do you desire from them? So thinking about that as you're formulating whatever communicate, not just a log line, any communication with them. Your story, no matter what it is, no matter what medium it comes in, should be supporting your organization's mission. That mission is I call it the North Star. So again, always making sure that you're not doing any mission creep and that you're in alignment. And you got to bring them in. They got to find themselves in the story, or it's just not, it's going to fall flat. And they're going to be like, that's great. But so just make sure the more you know about them, leverage that. I truly believe that everyone in your organization should be a storyteller. And it's not an easy thing to do, but volunteers, you read the article about board members being storytellers. I'm a huge advocate of that. You all are representative of your organizations, and storytelling should just be part of it. The more you do, the easier it will get. And the better you will be. So it's just like flexing a muscle. It's just, you try it, you keep trying it, you refine it, you see people's reactions, etc. And it just keeps evolving. It's a very fluid thing. And then my last and final recommendation or ask of you is I say, be a story hunter. So go out and collect as many stories as you can, file them away, put them in your pockets, because you never know what audience you're going to want to communicate with, and you'll have a story that you can share with that respective audience. So those are my parting thoughts, little seeds for you to consider, and just open it up to any questions or comments that you have before we wrap it up. All right, that means to me silence is golden, and thank you. It's been a pleasure getting to know each of you. Your jobs are not easy, but try to find the joy. Please do. You're doing wonderful work. And thank you for your active engagement and participation in this. I hope you enjoyed it and you found value in it. So enjoy the rest of the day. If there's any work day left for some of us, the rest of you are probably like, let's wrap it up, sister. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Julie. This was really fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
That went really well, Julie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to kill the recording?
Oh,
can you
yes,
stop
we can.
Yeah.